Lebac remix. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Ready to take off. Interstellar. Lebac remix. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
And we're live. A very warm welcome to everybody. I think we're live now. Can everybody hear me? Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
Beautiful, beautiful. I gotta say, that Olympus trailer is an absolute banger. It gets me hyped every time. I'm so glad that it's on the beginning of every Olympus call. So welcome everybody to our second Olympus call. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Now, I know it's been a few months since our last Olympus call, but since then we've been working real hard to bring you all a lot of updates, which we're happy to share with everyone today. Everyone should know by now that Zeus is absolutely bringing the heat with Bitcoin summer on Solana. And trust me, it's just the beginning. But you'll need to stay locked in to learn more. But before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Deez. I'm the 69-year-old intern and lead at btcSOL. I'll be guiding everybody through this galactic journey, so buckle up for an amazing time. As is tradition on our live streams, we will introduce the ladies here first. And with that, please allow me to introduce our first special speaker, Circe, executive at the one, the only, Monkey DAO, Mass Gigabrain and Absolute Freedom Maxi. Next, we've got Justin, founder at Zeus and the bringer of Lightning. Next, we've also got another founder at Zeus, and who's Jim, master architect of the constellations. Next up, Peter, head of growth at Zeus and granite pillars of the Temple of Zeus. And last, but definitely not least, Nick from Marinade, head of BD and the Gordon Ramsay of Web3. I'm kidding. If you all know Nick, you know he's the nicest person in Web3. But it is at this point, I'd like to bring a special announcement to everybody. We're so proud to announce that not only is Marinade our official launch partner, but we're announcing today that Marinade has graciously provided an additional 2% boost to all stakers for the first month in MNDE tokens. Absolute mad props to the entire Marinade team for being so supportive throughout our journey together. And although Nick can't stay for the whole call because the Chad's at the airport, let's hope the airport Wi-Fi doesn't rug him. I'd like to invite him up on stage just to say a few quick words. Nick, the floor is yours.
Yeah, guys, can you hear me okay? I can't be screaming too loud as everyone, all the poor people at the airport have to listen to my call here. But yeah, no, appreciate you having me up. Can you guys hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. So, we had met months ago, and there was just something, you guys had definitely like a unique spark, right? And the idea for staking SOL and earning BTC was just such I don't know. There's some things you hear that are just so obvious. And it's like, how has no one done this before, right? And you guys are just a team of Chads, hard workers, nice guys, clearly been here for years, want to elevate the ecosystem. So I'm like, okay, if I can get Marinade involved, that'll be a huge win-win. And from my perspective, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, you might view it as like, oh, like we're helping you guys out. From my perspective, I'm like, this is a huge opportunity for Marinade as well to work with the Zeus team. So we talked about, a good way for us to be involved on the marketing side. And then of course we wanted to, offer the, btcSOL users some incentives. And like I said, easy win-win. And I'm excited as you guys build up more of a community that they're going to all be, utilizing mSOL as well. And, kind of keep it going for months to come.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much. Won't keep you from boarding your plane. Thank you so much for tuning in. I once again appreciate you. Thank you, y'all, a bunch of Chads, for all the support you've given us.
Yeah, man. Of course. Yeah, and any more questions, whether the audience has more questions or you guys have more questions, we'll talk about it. I'm here for the next 20 or so minutes before I board. So just, ping me and let me know, and happy to say more. But yeah, we need to get a bunch of announcements going on X and other socials about, the MNDE boost as well. And get people, staking mSOL.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Perfect. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
cheers, brother.
Thank you. All right. Before we continue, I'm going to point out that, as always, we have a huge ZWG crew in the house tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being so amazing. Can I get some ZMs in the chat, please? ZM. There you go. Love it. Loving it. All right. Now that we have the introductions out of the way, I'll quickly share the agenda for tonight, which consists of 4 main topics. We've got ecosystem updates, alien technology, btcSOL launch party, and a cozy fireside chat with our special guests. Peter will be leading off our ecosystem updates. Peter, the floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Peter, Apollo lead here. Like Des said, it's been almost 2 months since we had the last call. And Apollo and zBTC has been striving in the Solana ecosystem. We've been working pretty hard to, optimize the protocol and also being more integration into the ecosystem. So I'm going to share a little bit of the Apollo updates and what we've been up to. So in the past couple of months, 2 months, we've been growing our zBTC holders steadily. And also the total minted zBTC has been increasing as well. So we're seeing on-chain that there are a lot of new users trying out Apollo. We're seeing good amount of BTC coming onto Solana and being used in different ecosystems, different protocols. And we're seeing some small and medium-sized users that are trying the dApp, which is a good thing to see. And besides that, we had one of the largest withdrawal from Solana back to native Bitcoin, which happened about a month ago, just early July. We had almost 18 CBBTC withdrawal from Apollo. And again, this was never done before, ever, being able to unwrap a centralized Bitcoin back to native Bitcoin using Zeus Network infrastructure. So although the total minted zBTC decreased by almost 20, but again, it was a one-click almost $2 million withdrawal from Apollo. I think this is Also, something that we're very proud of is that Zeus Network is offering a trustless, permissionless gateway for liquidity to move between two of the fastest growing economy, Bitcoin and Solana. So that is something that is super exciting, and we hope to see that more of these transactions happen on chain, just so that we keep Bitcoin as free as possible. Coming into Solana and also vice versa. So that's something that is pretty big. A $2 million withdrawal, something that has never done before. Originally, you have to go through a centralized KYC process or through an OTC, through a merchant. But with Apollo, any users are able to withdraw from Solana back to native Bitcoin, trustless, permissionless. So that's pretty cool. And then in terms of partnership, we have added a few partners. We have partnered up with OKX's XBTC on LP on Orca. And I think a year ago, we envisioned that Solana, there is going to be more Bitcoin tokenization happening. And here we are, we're seeing, Coinbase BTC, XBTC, different versions of Bitcoin being minted on Solana. And so that's a good thing to see. And I think that is a very, very good progress for Solana as an ecosystem where we can finally see more Bitcoin, more volume, more utilization, and on Solana. And that's going to help us propel. And I think the entire DeFi space is going to grow just positively over time. And also today, an hour ago, we just launched our latest partnership with Camino Borrow Lending. So finally, zBTC is now available on Camino. We have an incentive program that's running for the first month where users can deposit a Bitcoin and then borrow against using FDUSD, and we're getting a boost on that as well. So we're working on more partnerships, more utilization for zBTC on Solana, where we can enable more flexibility of Bitcoin for DeFi. And another partnership that is super interesting is Loopscale. So zBTC is now live on Loopscale. For those that are a little bit more advanced in terms of DeFi, definitely you can check that out. And just a little bit of alpha, we are planning an incentive program on Loopscale. So stay tuned for that. And this all, again, is all part of Bitcoin Summer Campaign on Solana, where in the next 3 months, you can expect zBTC to have many, many ways to earn extra, as well as having more flexibility. So you can see on the partnership map, we got OKX, Radium, Camino, Meteora, Stable, Orca, HawkFi, Safe Finance, Drift. Pretty much the majority of the DeFi protocols, zBTC, are now showing presence there. So this is something that we will be continue pushing very hard. And also we have partnered up with FDUSD, stablecoin, just so that there is more DeFi strategy there. And as part of the Bitcoin Summer Campaign, we have done the first ever Bitcoin airdrop on Solana. And for wave 1, the eligibility, you can see we have rewarded Zeus No Guardian delegators, Apollo testnet user, and Apollo mainnet users. So for those that have interacted with the app, there was a Bitcoin airdrop available for claim. So make sure you go check that out. You can check it out on btcSOL.co. So for those that have interacted even just one time, you were eligible for a $20 zBTC airdrop. Although it's not a huge amount, but this is some appreciation from the team for supporting us from the early days. And again, this is only wave 1. And we have wave 2 that is coming, which is btcSOL whitelisted stakers, Z Pioneer Roll, Galaxy Starboard, and more to come. So there's definitely more ways to earn throughout the summer. The wave 2 is coming, and there's going to be more waves. So definitely stay tuned for that. And lastly, I'm going to bring the mic up to our co-founder, chief scientist, Jim, to explain the alien tech. So for Apollo, we are entering a new phase very, very soon, Apollo V2, and I'll let Jim share everything about it. What is the difference? What is new for V2? Jim, floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. Lovely, lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. ZM. Welcome to our Olympus call number 2. This is my first officially time to be here to introduce you guys what a very, I would say, amazing and surprising and very excited moment for us, because today we just launched btcSOL, our second product in the Zeus ecosystem. And in the less than 24 hours, we've already obtained almost 10% of the total capacity of a 75,000 btcSOL. So a great shout out for team and everyone that joins our community. So today I would like to introduce the more exciting news in the next couple of weeks and month. All right. So the very first breakthrough we will say is Apollo, right? Apollo is the first application that we built for Zeus ecosystem. It is the very first Bitcoin on-chain exchange that built specifically for Solana and all the DeFi users, right? And by far, we are probably the most distributed permissionless wrapping Bitcoins, right? Compared to other solutions, we are probably the most adopted, because user can just use zBTC and make it useful, right? But from here, we're going to push further. What we mean by that is we want to further improve the user experiences on using BTC tokenization solutions. So what we have now is a version 1. So for anyone that tunes in the space, if you ever use Apollo, you probably will be bothered by the 2-step onboarding deposit, right? The reason why we do that is because we want to make sure that confirmation of safety. So this requires our system to use this 2-step deposit, and this will require user to wait to 6 to 7, 8 different confirmations. But in Apollo V2, we are going to reduce the confirmation into 1 step. So what that brings to users like you guys is that you can expect a deposit time cut in half from almost 1 hour to 30 minutes, even less, let's say 20 minutes. And we think this is a breakthrough compared to the other Bitcoin tokenization solutions. So one of the pain points that user might have is that we used to require users to connect both wallets, which is Solana and Bitcoin wallets. And this is no longer a requirement anymore, because now we only require user to give us a Solana wallet. And if you want, you can just provide any Bitcoin exchange wallet if you want. And again, this is I would say this is probably the other breaking feature, that we are the only one permissionless or protocol that provide this kind of solution. So very excited to announce this news first time in front of the community. So our team is grinding very hard. All the internal testing was already accomplished. So I would say we can expect Apollo V2 to be live in the next couple of weeks, if not month, right? So stay tuned. We're going to deliver you the best tech, alien tech, which is only possessed by Zeus team. And I would like to shout out to our next breakthrough product, which is what we call the ZeusStack, right? So we picture this kind of tool, ZeusStack, as a hub for Bitcoin economy infrastructure. So what we mean by that is that we are going to provide, the very first time, we're going to provide a permissionless pool to the hand of developers, right? So using this tool, you can start to build your own Bitcoin applications to untap the $1 trillion liquidity on Bitcoin, which is not easy to access before. Now with ZeusStack, you can do that. So what exactly ZeusStack is, it's in the form of an SDK. Basically, this SDK will have different forms of use and different interfaces, including a widget that the front-end developer can just import and use in the front-end applications such as React, right? And we'll also provide an API that is easier to use, other than just integrating the SDK and figure out all the instruction composition part. You can just call in an API and start using our infrastructure. And we're also going to provide a CLI as well, so that if you are a backend developer or DevOps, right? If you need your service to be 24/7 alive, then you can use our CLI. And other than that, we are going to build an MCP server, Model Context Protocol, right? Now we are talking about an agent economy. So of course, our infrastructure is going to be agent friendly. Any type of model can access our service through our MCP server, right? I think this is we are the very first few of the permissionless tokenizing Bitcoin protocol that does this. So what we offer here is, instead of just toolkit, a tool like piece by piece, we are offering an ecosystem tool, which means if you are ever using ZeusStack, you have the ability to be discovered and integrated by other protocols that also using ZeusStack. We're trying to make an ecosystem networking effect here, right? So let's take a look over an overview. So we are going to provide a widget, it's integratable in front end, an AI agent MCP server that's agent friendly, an API server that's functionable for backend users, and an SDK, which is pretty much universal for any type of developers. Either you are a front-end developer, backend developer, you can all use our SDK to fully customize your application to using BTC tokenizing solutions. So we are driving Bitcoin DeFi integration and exponential growth in the Bitcoin economy, which again, I still need to emphasize that we are the only first permissionless Bitcoin tokenization protocol that's ever done this, right? And you are the first one to witness this altogether, right? So this is what I have to say today. So Apollo V2 live in a couple of weeks, even a month. And ZeusStack, the very first developer-friendly to untap the Bitcoin economy, which is going to be live, I believe, in a month, right? The end of Q3. So stay tuned. Thank you. I'm going to hand back my mic to Peter. To Dees.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Dees here. Not quite as good looking as Peter, but here I am. Now, from Jim's talk, it's clear to understand why I call it an alien technology, right? Because clearly I have no idea. But I'm sure there are some Chads out there in the crowd that actually understood Jim's presentation and realized the potential that Zeus and ZeusStack can unleash. If you do, please don't hesitate to reach out, get in touch with us, and see where Zeus and ZeusStack can take you. All right, so now the next section I'm most proud of, because today at 11 a.m. we officially launched btcSOL, right? And the reception was way above our expectations. I'm absolutely stunned. I'm also absolutely convinced that you can have the best tech out there, but if you can combine it with a strong community and great content, it can make the world of difference, right? So nothing brings people together better than great content. So we'll take a quick second here to share with you our official launch video. Now, chat, tell me that it isn't one of the best launch videos you've ever seen. Exactly, you can't, because that was an absolute banger. All right, just to loop everybody in, btcSOL is a staking platform that we developed that allows users to stake SOL or restake their LSTs in return for btcSOL token, which allows users to gradually accumulate Bitcoin over time. User stake position will have a preset percentage converted gradually over time into zBTC while their underlying SOL continues to grow. This gives you meaningful exposure to two of the strongest assets in crypto today. What do we call this? We call this our dual asset accumulation strategy. One position, two assets to accumulate, DAS. And with that, I'll share with you a quick demo. So we'll just pull up our platform right here, as you can see. So here we have our platform. As you can see, we've tried to keep the user interface as simple and as sleek as possible, making it as simple and easy as possible for users of all levels to stake and receive btcSOL. Once they've successfully staked, they'll be able to log in and see their position grow over time. The My Position menu is a simple and clear, so users can see the btcSOL position and zBTC accumulated over time. Unstaking is just as simple as staking, right? So our goal was clear from the beginning. Our goal was to make the entire platform as easy as possible for longer-term orientated users of all levels to use. Simply stake it, and there's no need to worry about it, allowing them both have the NASDAQ on-chain and digital gold accumulation in one go. I think that's a pretty powerful message, and I think that's an app that we can all get behind. Perfect. So that's the end of our demo. All right. Now, I'm sure many of you that are tuning in have been following our journey for a while now, and I hope that you're enjoying your launch boosts. But to quickly recap, what do we have? We have our signature 200% zBTC boost from today until July 31st. That's 2 full weeks of 200% boost, after which you'll be able to claim it in about a week thereafter. Remember, try to stay staked throughout the entire 2 weeks to enjoy the full boost. And for those of you who maybe missed out on our whitelist campaign or were thinking about joining but just never pulled the trigger, as we revealed earlier in the call, we've the MNDE boosting for everybody to enjoy. Now, this lasts a little bit longer. It lasts for the entire month. So up until the August 17th, everybody will be entitled to enjoy that boost. All right. Before I end my session, I just want to give a special shout out to everybody on the Zeus Growth team, content team, and a big shout out to our amazing devs for making all of this possible. There really was a lot of work behind the scenes to make this as user-friendly, as simple to use, and as effective for everybody. There are a lot more products coming. You'll have to stay tuned to our roadmap, but that's all I can share for now. Moving on to our last section, I want to thank everybody for staying up until this point. I'd like to invite our guest speakers to our fireside chat. Please welcome Circe, Farmer Joe, and Justin, along with our moderator, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you, Dees. First of all, welcome Circe and Farmer Joe. It's been a while. Just a recap. There is a lot of things that's happening for the Zeus ecosystem, and of course, as well as Solana. And just want to catch up with our friends. Circe, you have been following Zeus since day one. Of course, Monkey DAO has been a huge supporter. And in last month, I think for the New York Solstice event, that was a huge success, and appreciate you guys for including us in and having us there. And so today we have Farmer Joe. Hey, Farmer Joe. Also, it's been quite a while since we last chatted, and I think today for the fireside chat, we get to talk a little bit more about what's happening, in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and Solana side. So I'm gonna let you guys do a little bit of intro and share what you're working on. Cersei, I'll let you go first.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having us on. Like you've mentioned, I think we have been partnering with the Zeus Network for a long time. When I said we, I mean like Monkey DAO. So it's amazing to see how far you guys have come. And congrats on the launch of btcSOL. So for us, we're Monkey DAO. We're the premier Web3 country club. As Peter has just shared, we just wrapped up Solstice, and we're excited to share more alpha later in the fireside chat. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Of course, it's always a pleasure. Monkey DAO and Zeus has been quite a long-term partner, and we're very, very excited to have you again. Farmer Joe, the mic is yours. I think some of our community already familiar with you, but at the same time, yeah, we got some new listener tuning in. Would you mind giving us a little bit of intro? I know you've been in this space for a while, Bitcoin Maxi, and beyond
Look, I think it's funny that you guys labeled me a Bitcoin Maxi because I think it, I obviously love Bitcoin, but I'm not necessarily a Maxi. I don't think the Maxis would actually want Bitcoin all the way on Solana anyways. So I'm a little bit different. I think there's this like new generation of
hybrid.
Yeah. Bitcoin evangelist, technologist, promoter, whatever you want to call it. It's just obviously I've been in Web3 for a while, Solana, Ethereum, you name it, kind of touched it. But kind of came back to Bitcoin in 2023 when ordinals came out and when like the Bitcoin on-chain economy started to get its like Bitcoin renaissance right now. Obviously, this was one of those teams, and I've been blessed with the ability to help him back, countless Bitcoin startups, over 30 of them at this point. Unfortunately, Zeus is not one of them, but obviously you guys are friends and very much support what you guys are doing. I guess separately, accidentally started a Bitcoin meme coin called Pups on Bitcoin and decided the best place to bring it to life is really the NASDAQ of crypto, which is Solana. And so using a bridge with RuneMine, we were able to bridge the token over to Solana, and it became a pretty much an instant success story because it solved every single problem that the L1 users were having. Programmability, easy to trade, easy and accessible. So yeah, Bitcoin on every chain makes a lot of sense, but Bitcoin on Solana to me makes more sense than other chains. So kudos to you guys for bringing together an awesome product. And yeah, I saw the API as well, maybe some alpha there, but it seems like you guys are having APIs that support Bitcoin assets. So that could be quite interesting down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I appreciate the support. It's been a long time, and it was really cool to see Pups coming onto Solana. I think that was very, very the start of the merge of Bitcoin and Solana. And I think Solana is really the place where the fun begins, and there's tons of possibilities. So yeah, very, very excited to see what's gonna come out next. I think Bitcoin and Solana just makes a lot of sense, just like Nick said as well. There's just so much potential here. We got Justin here. Justin was just on another space, Solar, talking about Bitcoin with our Chinese community. Justin, welcome to the space. I'm sure people are already familiar of who you are. But again, there's a lot of new people that just tune in. So Justin, want to give a quick intro and share a little bit about what you've been up to. I know you've been flying around. So yeah, what's up?
Yeah, it's good. Just got out of space. Actually, just got out of code with one of the institutions, one of the strategy companies actually in Asia was asking me these questions: where is the yield for Bitcoin? I've been telling the guy, right? It's something that no one has really solved yet. In a way that they're very bullish on Solana, and they're eagerly trying to see if what we offer as Zeus can really onboard into to really leverage the yield from Solana, especially with an entire ecosystem, right? So, I think what happens for the last 2 months actually, and people have often forget is that we're not just crypto audience anymore, right? We're essentially merging with TripFly people right now. There is roughly about 174 strategy companies for the last 6 months happening in the space. 70% of them are actually buying Bitcoin. There's roughly about, besides MicroStrategy, there's roughly about $20 billion that has been issued as a convertible notes kept buying Bitcoin on a strategy place. And as phase two for these strategy company has to face is that buying more Bitcoin doesn't change the fact that you're competing with the supply shock or fixed demands. But what's more importantly is that a lot of these strategy companies they're starting to ask themselves, where can I earn yield with this digital gold, right? So obviously there are two options. One is on chain, one is off. The other thing is off chains. If we talk about on chain and Solana, right now we're probably the best choice right now. You don't want to go through CBDC, BTC, or XBTC. Nevertheless, we are not just building a bridge. We're not a bridge, first of all. We are building a Bitcoin economy, right? First, you can stake SOL to earn Bitcoin through the launch of btcSOL today. We have Apollo. Permissionlessly allows you to mint zBTC or converted CBBTC back to native BTC as well. More importantly, we're not just launching these two products. We're lighting files with, I don't know, man, a lot of Bitcoin related products are launching. I can't really disclose much, but we are launching this project. It's called Bitcoin Dex. I mean, not a name, obviously, but we're constantly trying to solve this $1 trillion myth questions. Where is the yield? And I think the yield has to come from the most vested user blockchains, Solana. And with the trading activity on Solana, I think what we're trying to bring to the table can revolutionary in the way that we're going to bring the most organic yield to a lot of institutions, especially for the Bitcoin holders.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're spilling a little bit alpha that was supposed to be at the end, but I think you touched on definitely a lot of good points. We're seeing strategy companies, from traditional TradFi companies, and also there's on-chain, Bitcoin Reserve that's happening, and now we're diving into our Bitcoin Fireside chat. And Cersei, we've been working on this for a while. Back then, Monkey DAO was the first DAO on-chain to establish a Bitcoin Reserve using zBTC. I know this has been, worked on from both parties, and it's been great seeing that happen, coming into reality. And again, from Zeus team, from our community, we appreciate that, Monkey DAO supported zBTC on day one, and minted one full zBTC as the DAO reserve. And since then, I know the portfolio has been doing quite well, actually been up 43% since the first start. So I think it's only been 3 months. Kind of want to hear, what has happened, what made you guys, decide to, establish that reserve, and what are the response from the community?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think we got in at quite a good time, like when BTC was at like the local low. But on what made us want to get that reserve when we were just throwing around the idea of having a reserve like part of the DAO, because we kind of want to diversify the assets. Of course, BTC comes to mind, but it was quite I would say challenging to have such an asset, because as our treasury is mostly on Solana, if we want to get BTC as it is, that'll be quite challenging for us. And like you said, zBTC is the first permissionless BTC on Solana. So before that, the options weren't really, I would say, viable for us as a DAO. And then but we know that a lot of our holders as well as team members were very interested in just getting BTC in the reserve. So I mean, when you guys came along, I think, and gave us the suggestion, we were all quite keen to get it on. So yeah, that was great, and I'm super happy to see it up now. Maybe we should have
But
gotten more,
more.
but no, I can't say this in case I get in trouble. But but yeah, that was I think the community is super happy about it because, like, as you know, like Monkey DAO is a very, I would say we have a good mix of consumers as well as, like, builders, and I would say, like, if you are dabbling in crypto, you would understand the significance of Bitcoin as, like, the king of all coins. So that naturally made everyone really happy that we're like putting this into our reserve.
Yeah,
So thank you.
I'm also so happy to see, because I'm also part of Monkey DAO as well. Although I don't rock a profile picture, but it's great to see monkeys everywhere. I know you guys have new chapters around the world, the meetups, and a lot of offline events. And I think Monkey DAO has been just friendly, probably one of the best community to get in when I guess one of the best community to get in on Solana, especially if you're new to crypto. I think Monkey DAO is a great place to be. You can learn a lot about just Web3 in general, and also get to meet a lot of really cool people. And Monkey DAO probably has one of the most concentrated, founders and Web3 people that are working in the space. So that's awesome. It's great to see. And again, btcSOL just launched today. And as part of our long-term partnership, we have included the Gen 2 and Gen 3 with the 200% Bitcoin boost. So we want to make sure we, as a company, Zeus Network, continue pushing the importance of diversifying your investment, especially placing some capital into accumulating Bitcoin. So just happy that Monkey DAO made that decision there, and let's see, maybe every year you guys will start build more Bitcoin over time. But yeah, just awesome to see.
And
thank you,
no
Cersei.
promises.
No promises. Gonna have to push you a little bit. Yeah. And moving on to the second question, I think Farmer Joe, you touch on a little bit about on-chain strategy. What are the things that's happening that you see? Bitcoin has MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet, and Ethereum has SBET and BMNR, right? And Solana has Sol Strategy. What kind of opportunity do you see here?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good question, and it's something that I've been kind of like, I guess, alluding to on my public page, is like opening up people's curiosity to like an on-chain version of MicroStrategy. I think it could be really interesting. The question is, like, how do you create like volatility value? I mean, that's a whole different exercise, but I think it like doing this entirely on chain actually makes more sense, because we're dealing with a crypto asset. We can deploy the treasury in ways that generate yield or are effective and grow the ecosystem. I think like that's the part that stumps me the most is, if we have like multi-billions, tens of billions in Bitcoin-based treasury companies, Solana-based treasury companies, Ethereum-based treasury companies, if that TVL or if that capital never becomes productive, then we're just kind of, buying an ETF, right? And I think the beauty of these like treasury companies is that they can become quite active with the underlying holdings that they own. And what that does as a byproduct is like grows the industry. It makes cost of borrowing cheaper. It makes efficiency of capital flows much more efficient. And so then why wouldn't you come to the on-chain economy? It's just going to become, it's going to become cheaper to be on leverage, cheaper to borrow, cheaper to do things. And if it's cheaper than the real world, then there's natural incentive for capital to flow here.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting to see how TradFi and Web3 kind of are at a point where Bitcoin is no longer just, I guess, a store of value. I think we're shifting to the next phase where these kind of assets are being moved on chain and through different kind of DeFi activities. And I think to the next point, Justin, I think we've been trying to target this issue as well. We see, Bitcoin being, over $1 trillion asset, and majority of it is sitting idle. And on Solana, there's tons of users, tons of need for liquidity. So I guess where you're seeing where we are right now, do you think we're going to see more Bitcoin tokenization happening on chain, especially on Solana, and all these liquidity moving onto Solana? What is the next phase? Is it going to be, earning yield opportunity, more DeFi flexibility there? What are you seeing so far? And, the conversation that you had with institutions? Justin, you're muted.
Sorry. So the time I got into space in the late 2015, Bitcoin was purely driven by retails and speculations. Obviously, we have this fantasy of devalue or dollar value, and then whereas Bitcoin acts as a hedge against the dollar, right? And now we're seeing that these things are actually becoming real to today in 2025. I think Bitcoin, without a questions, has become the most institutional instruments for a lot of institutions to hedge against dollar values. And if you ask me, is Bitcoin still retail's money? Unlikely. I would say like 60-70% right now of Bitcoin holdings are controlled by institutions or reserve companies. And they're gonna be the one that benefit most. They're also gonna be the one that start wondering, what can we do with Bitcoin, right? With this institutionalized assets that are coming forwards, I think it's good for the space. Whether they build a tech, they invest more star on top of Bitcoins, nevertheless, it's good for Solana, good for the ecosystem overall. So, hypothetically speaking, if Bitcoin business is going to accelerate for the next 5 years, are institutions or exchanges are the one that can benefit the most? I don't think so. I think that is kind of like the thing, the notion why we started Zeus Network at the first place, is that we think tokenized Bitcoin, it deserves for everyone. It's not solely for institutional exchanges such as CBBTC, XBTC, or any version of BTC that are controlled by institutions. I believe in the future, not just in the future, maybe end of this year or next year's, my mom, my dad, my cousins, your friends, your best friend, anyone can start a Bitcoin business on chains. Such as, Peter, you can start Peter BTC, right? Farmer Joe can do a Farmer Joe BTC, or Circle can do a Circle BTC. Anyone can do a tokenized BTC on any given chains. And I think that is something we call about on-chain adoptions, right? We're not just serving for one group of people, we're serving for mass adoptions. And when that happens, you need an infra layer like Zeus, being able to tokenize BTC in different manners, not just for institutional adoptions, right? So I believe in the next year or two, Bitcoin business will be the most underrated business in the mankind history, in a way that essentially you're solving or handling like $1 trillion asset that can potentially put it on chain, put it into your products, protocols, layers that generate billions of dollars of revenues into your business. I think it's something that Zeus Network is trying to bet on. We're not just building a bridge. We're not just building a wrap version of BTC. Instead, we think that there should be 1,000 versions of zBTC. There should be ABC, BTC, any version you want. You should be able to tokenize freely in different manners into Solana. I think that's something that we want to see. It's something that I envision as a founder, that Bitcoin business will accelerate. I think what Farmer Joe just mentioned, it's kind of struck me in many different ways. I think we had this conversation about a month ago about on-chain MicroStrategy. Like 1,000% agree. All these TradFi people are taking Bitcoin into their treasuries. Essentially, if you buy their stocks, you're buying the wrap version of Bitcoin. Think about that, right? So why can we put this Bitcoin on chain, and then we can give out a wrap version of tokens, or a DAO token allows people to purchase and then essentially share a pot of yield that can be distributed with the Bitcoin earning. So there are a lot of ways that we can do, listed company can do, and I think things are going to be getting more interesting moving forward. That I think Zeus, we are launching ZeusStack, and also more dApps that really want to ensure when this hot Bitcoin business accelerates, we are going to be the only choice, the first options that really take off and accelerate this adoption. So I'm very excited. You know, the things that I've talked and discussed with the institutions, they have zero clue, none. They have zero clue how to tokenize BTC. They have zero clue why putting Bitcoin on chains. So that gives us $1 billion reasons that what we are doing is meaningful. It's a lot of potential. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the fireside chat. Before we wrap up, I just want to pass the mic down to each of the speaker. First, Cersei. I know Monkey DAO is always, planning for the next move. There's a lot of things that's happening. Perhaps you could share a little bit about, what's next for Monkey. I see some monkeys in the chat too. So the mic is yours, Cersei.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So I think in the previous year we have focused a lot on, getting people together, just having in-person events. And moving forward, we do have a platform called the Banana Stand, which ultimately we wanted to be a members concierge platform. And previously, we've gotten Zeus tokens to just give it out to our members. But we wanna grow this platform to become more of a an actual concierge platform rather than just a giveaway with points and stuff like that. So yeah, we are actually the new update is going to drop very soon. There'll be more badges and a lot of more portfolios, members portfolios, and then slowly there'll be a lot more benefits you can get on the platform. So yeah, stay tuned to that if you're a monkey.
Let's go, Monkey. Farmer Joe, I'm gonna pass the mic down to you. Maybe you can share a little bit about what's cooking, what we can expect, what's happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess on the pup side, I think there's been a massive upwards momentum shift from centralized exchanges. Kraken has listed dog and everything in the Bitcoin ecosystem is, it was pretty bleak, I would say. But with Kraken supporting Runes and dog and they're definitely communicating with other ecosystems and other meme coins in the ecosystem that they're looking to list other tokens. I think, this gives us, for at least from the Bitcoin asset side of things, a renewed level of hopium. And it's truly reflected in the pricing of these assets too. I mean, Pups is, it's been around for close to 2.5 years now, and it still trades, it's still liquid, it's still alive, it still has holders. And so, that's kind of what they're looking for at the end of the day is something that doesn't die on the exchange in 3 months, 4 months. So they're trying to get a better idea of that. Yeah, look, I guess on the Solana side, just looking out to see more Bitcoin DeFi based projects. I think you don't necessarily have to build a Bitcoin based lending app or a Bitcoin based DEX to win. I think the key to winning on Solana is really just integrating zBTC here to Camino, to Drift, to this, to that, so that zBTC can be used as collateral for perps positions. Yeah, look, I think it's just winning and getting the teams on Solana right now to adopt Bitcoin. I think everyone is by default, Bitcoin bullish. But there's a different set of incentive alignments. Solana up until now really cared about the SOL token, and of course they still care about the SOL token. I think it's just about showing teams the opportunity that look, we have X amount of BTC on Solana now, and people want to do things with their BTC. And if you don't integrate this BTC asset, then you're missing a large piece of the pie. This is going to take a little bit of time, obviously, right? Because people got to, one, get comfortable with actually just holding the BTC wrapper on the L1 or L2, wherever zBTC plans to be. I think that's one level of understanding. And then the second part is all right, now I'm going to try and do things with it. And that's another level of education and pattern flow. So I don't think this is going to happen overnight, but I think, everyone is underestimating how quickly that shift can happen. And you can almost have both of those things work in tandem with one another, where suddenly like the inflows become useful right away. And I think that's the inflection point of like 0 to 1 here will take 90 days or 120 days, I suspect, right? It's just a matter of time. So yeah, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. I hope, day one, it's all about other teams adopting zBTC. And then, a year down the line, I want to see Bitcoin DeFi products to be built specifically around it on Solana and, make them the best in class from any chain perspective, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, that's a bit of alpha. And who knows, maybe. Look, if there's an on-chain Bitcoin strategy to be involved with, I'm more than happy to try and be involved in that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, man. We'll see. Appreciate
Too much
the support.
alpha.
Yeah, a lot of alpha. But again, Farmer Joe, appreciate the support. You've been supporting us quite a long time now. And like you said, great things don't just happen overnight. And there's a lot that has happened this year. I guess a year ago, if you look back, I guess WBTC was the dominance on Solana. There weren't that many different versions of Bitcoin on Solana, but a year later, there is XBTC coming in, CBBTC, zBTC, and there's more Bitcoin that is coming this year. And again, with different integration on different protocols, there's many cool things that you can do with your Bitcoin now. Like you mentioned, zBTC, now you can put it on Drift, on Camino, on Safe, borrow lending side of things. You can put your Bitcoin, deposit, borrow against stablecoin. You could buy some pubs, you could buy a monkey. There's so many things that you can do with your Bitcoin on Solana, and it's hard to imagine what it's going to be, 12 months from now. So, in a year, in next year, this time, maybe we'll do another call like this, and things is going to look so much different. So really appreciate Cersei and Farmer Joe to tune in as speaker and share some insights. For our last part, we have Justin to share a little bit of alpha. So again, thank you, Cersei. Thank you, Farmer Joe, for your time. I'm going to pass the mic back to Justin.
Well, we're essentially building a Bitcoin economy, right? I remember last year, a lot of people told me that you shouldn't do Bitcoin business on Solana because it's probably solely just you're essentially just competing with a lot of people that only believe in SOL rather than Bitcoin. Nice sunglasses, by the way.
It's Bitcoin summer.
As time goes, we realize that Solana doesn't have to be solely just SOL, right? You can earn Bitcoin with your SOL, which is something that we created BTCSOL in the first place. I personally think that with the MSOL yield, we can build tons of yield generation innovations on top of MSOL products. It could essentially become like a Bitcoin structured product overall. Because if you talk about yield, a foundational yield, I think Solana offers the most sustainable yield compared to any other chains right now. Also highest, by the way. So I'm extremely bullish on BTCSOL and what's the roadmap for the next 6 to 1 year. And like I said, tokenizing Bitcoin doesn't have to be only for institution or exchanges, right? Everyone can tokenize BTC. I can tokenize BTC. Peter can tokenize BTC. Anyone, Mariner should tokenize your BTC. Pops, you should tokenize your BTC too. Is Joe still here? Oh, Joe left. So I was gonna say, like, if Farmer Joe decides to tokenize Pop BTC, I'll personally run on the track with my underwear on, with a thousand push-ups. Now, these are the commitments that we're trying to do on the table, right? Anyone should tokenize the BTC. So I'll give you a perfect example, right? If Pop BTC is one-to-one packed by real BTC, and then Pop does the token airdrop to the Pop BTC holders, and then trust me, like you instantly gonna see like a couple hundred BTC that actually get minted and get the airdrops, and then Pop BTC will essentially have adoptions to the Solana DeFi, right? So these are the innovation we're trying to see. I'm not a hater of XBTC, CBDC, but I'm saying that we can tokenize BTC. It doesn't have to be solely for institutions or exchanges. Hey, Pop, I know you're still here. If there's a Pop BTC, I'm actually gonna run a track with my underwear on to 1,000 push-ups. I don't know, you make the call, obviously, but I'm telling you guys, everyone deserves a chance to tokenize BTC. My cousin, my parents, your cousin, your parents, your sons, your daughter, your kids, it doesn't really matter. Everyone deserves a chance. And I think that's what Zeus is building for the day one. Everyone can tokenize BTC into Solana by our solutions. So the alpha, obviously Jim talked about it, ZeusStack allows anyone around the world tokenize the BTC. But what we're trying to ship for the next month or two to you guys is Bitcoin DEX. You know about Meteor Up, you know about Radiance, you know about Orcut. Essentially, these DEX are created for SOL. But what if there's a DEX solely served for BTC? I think this is going to be a game changer because a lot of yields are generated based on the SOL performance. But if there is a yield that actually comes from Bitcoin trading volume, Bitcoin economy created by Zeus, it's going to be revolutionary in a good way that I think a lot of institutions, a lot of retail that holds Bitcoin will start leveraging this Bitcoin DEX on Solana. Stay tuned. A lot of things are going to be rolled out. A lot of exciting news we're also going to be announcing as well. Definitely don't want to miss the next application that we're trying to ship to the table.
Yep. So I guess there was a lot to digest tonight. So to put a TLDR, I think what's coming next, like Jim mentioned, Apollo V2. This is going to reduce the minting and withdrawal time by 50%, down from 1 hour to 30 to 20 minutes. And then what's coming next is ZeusStack, enabling Bitcoin application and also tokenization of Bitcoin on Solana. And thirdly, Bitcoin DEX that's coming up within the Zeus ecosystem. So there's a thing that people can look forward to. And again, it's Bitcoin Summer on Solana. We are only wave one. We can expect a lot of partnership that's going to roll out, and also incentive program that's going to incentive early zBTC holders and people who are utilizing their zBTC across Solana ecosystem. And I think now you see my shades here. This sunglasses is Zeus sunglasses, you can see. So it is Bitcoin Summer. We will be going to WebEx in Tokyo and also KBW. So for those of the listener here, our community members, if you end up seeing us at those offline events, we'll be bringing some merch to you guys so that we can rock this all summer long. Thank you. I'm going to pass the mic down to Des for the closing. But again, thank you everybody for supporting Zeus since day one. It's very important for us to keep pushing the Bitcoin narrative and also more applications, open source application on Solana, so that we make Bitcoin. I guess we make Solana Bitcoin's new home. So that's the mic is yours.
One word. Wow, that's so damn bullish. And with that, it brings us to the end of our second official Olympus call, sadly. But as you can clearly see, this is just the beginning of Bitcoin Summer on Solana, brought to you by Zeus. So please turn on your notifications to all our X accounts. We have Zeus Network HQ, Apollo by Zeus, and btcSOL _co. A huge thank you to everyone at Zeus who put in a lot of work behind the scenes to make this not only possible on this live stream, but possible at everything at Zeus. Just to name a few, again, we have Peter, Frank, Evan, Azure, Mary, Johnny, and I could keep going on and on and on and on and on. But again, thank you everybody for taking the time to join us today. We look forward to seeing you throughout summer. And as Peter said, at many summer conferences as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, thank you.
Yo, pop BTC.
But BTC.